Hey guys, welcome back to the Wood Metal Workshop. I'm Kent. Getting going on hooking up the index mill. Kind of excited about this project. Right here, we're just prepping the boxes. We purchased an American Rotary phase converter, and we need several connections: one for the mill, one for the lathe, and one for the bandsaw. So, hence the three boxes with three outlets. Here's the generator for the phase converter. Really impressed with the directions. I just can't say enough about them. They really came through on that. Very easy to follow. Putting the feet on here, very clear that it needs to be on rubber feet, isolated from the floor, uh, and can't be fixed. It needs to be able to vibrate and move. It'll extend the life of the generator. Starting to put the mounting brackets on, I decided that we would mount the controls to the generator. For this model, you need to add these extra nuts as spacers onto the studs. Punching out the laser cuts for the mounting holes. Directions were very clear on make sure that you get all the pieces of metal out there. You don't want any floaters inside the case when it's energized. Okay, just putting the adapters together. It's just a carriage bolt and then a rubber isolator to isolate the vibrations from the control box and the generator mounted together. Once again, the directions were very clear on how to do it. Here's putting the plate on that mounts them. You can see there on the screen that I screwed this up. I'm supposed to use some nylock nuts here, not the regular nuts. Checking to make sure everything's even, and then getting the mounting studs lined up, tightening up the nut on the carriage bolt to lock it in place. This is the AR5 model. It is only weighs about 100 pounds, so not too bad to move around. Here you can see this is where I realized that I put the wrong nuts in the wrong place, so I'm going to switch them around, put the nylock nut on the stud, and then the other nut on the rubber isolator mount. Opening up the case, preparing to get the wiring put in. There's the warning that's packed inside, along with the wiring instructions for what leads to hook up to what leads. Open up the motor wiring box here. It's kind of nice that it's a little oversized compared to some. Easy to get the wires in. There's the lead that comes with to go between the two. That's part of the mounting kit or mounting it on the generator. That kit is extra. Kind of seeing what kind of length on the wires that I need there before I start tightening things up. So I already got the ground connected here, and I'm working on the first connection. Once again, the directions are very clear on what gets wired to what. That makes it really easy for somebody who doesn't do this all the time to hook it up. Some Scotch brand Super 33 electrical tape to seal everything together. There we're punching out the laser cut for knockout where that runs in, and then putting the clamp on. decided to do these connections one at a time, so I made sure that I didn't mess anything up. They're hooking up the ground, making the second connection in the box here. Once again, I'm going to make sure this is well wrapped in tape. I don't want any arcing. Then make the connection up above. And you see that double block there, that's where you actually pick up your third phase from when you're wiring the output. Tuck everything in neatly and get the cover back on, and that part's done. I am really impressed with the direction. Everything was super clear, unlike a lot of the directions you get. Here we're getting set up to run the 10 gauge wires from the main panel. This was originally designed to put a jib crane over here. Still gonna still gonna do that, but need to get power over here for the phase converter too. And instead of running conduit from the box, I decided to use the conduit that's already running on the floor. This was kind of a pain in the butt to do by myself. Could have used an extra hand for sure. Here you can see I'm having a hard time tugging. I'm tugging and tugging, and it's not moving very much. It's because the pull string is caught on the edge of the box. I'll figure it out here soon. There, I got it figured out. Moving along. All right, here's where we're going to figure out how we want to mount this, what orientation. After looking at it, I decided to go straight up and down to be the least chance of it getting damaged. Here, I'm just using a piece of cardboard to mark out the studs on the floor, putting some bushings on. There's a piece of 3/16" plate I had left over from another project. It's going to make a good sturdy mount for these. Marked it out and center punch it here first with a spring punch, and then follow it up with a regular punch. Making the bracket that's going to get welded on and mounted to the floor, marking the holes for that. I do it twice because I couldn't see the marks, probably because they were in shadow. I got a light that I had fixed that's directly above the table here that would make this a lot easier sometimes. I've got that lined up, drilling the holes. This is a little bit oversized, just make it easier. Cut off wheel to cut the little tab that was remaining out, and then follow it up with a flap wheel to ease the edges. Here, drawing the plate with a number 7 drill bit for a 1/4 20 tap. Easy little trick is if you put your drill bit lightly on your center mark and then clamp it, you know that you're lined up properly. I couldn't throw my little table that I usually have for this in here because we used it to on the Harbor Freight furniture cart to hold up the rotary indexers that we bought. And I didn't feel like making another one just for that one step. Here we're tapping the holes. If you haven't used this before, the green stuff that I'm using is tapping fluids, anchor lube. It's anchor lube. Works great for tapping and it works on all metals. I like that it's thick and vicious and viscous, and you can just dip the tap in. Here, bolting it in. And this last hole didn't line up quite right, so I had to work a little bit to get the bolt in. I'm going to take a flap wheel and take off the part that protrudes through. Nice, easy way to shorten up a bolt like that that isn't going to have to come out. Just quick little weld here. Probably a little bit overkill, didn't need that much weld, but had the gun out, might as well run it. All right, getting ready for some paint here. I'm going to tape over the holes in the plates and screw them on, so only have to paint it once. No loose parts, everything's it's painted all at the same time. Checked it to make sure it was cool enough, and then we'll just wipe it down with some acetone, take any grease and grime off there. Red oxide primer. Here I'm making up a little board so I don't have to wait to paint the two sides and flip it right over. There's the red. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and second half of this will be out next week. We'll catch you then.